The air trembled around the stone door as if the entire place was pulsing with every whisper seeping from behind it. Sam stood frozen, his hand shaking as he reached to touch the carvings. Slowly, the sculpted faces etched into the stone began to move, their eyes opening one by one, staring straight at him. "Don't touch it!" Leo screamed, but Sam couldn't stop himself. The moment his fingers brushed the cold surface, the door shuddered violently. Every face on the stone opened its mouth at once, unleashing a single deafening shriek that shattered the silence. The door creaked open slowly, and the darkness behind it was no ordinary void. It writhed like living smoke, twisting and shifting. From within, a massive black hand emerged, its fangs long and claw-like. Then came the rest of its body, distorted, unstable. Its features refused to settle. One moment a man's face, the next a woman's. Then nothing more than a hollow mask. Isabel staggered back, tears streaming, whispering in horror, This isn't a demon. It's something worse." The entity stood before them, and every time its eyes locked with one of theirs, its form twisted into the deepest terror buried inside their minds. When it looked at Leo, it became Laura's corpse, her eyes drowned in blood. Leo collapsed, screaming, "Stay away from her!" When it turned to Isabel, it appeared as her child, charred and broken, his eyes bleeding. She fell to her knees, reaching out with trembling hands despite the terror. Sam tried to avert his gaze, but the creature faced him at last. It became Sam himself, an exact replica, but with a crooked grin. Its voice was his, but warped. "It's your fault. If you hadn't brought them here, they wouldn't be dying." Sam roared back, "Lies, it's the house!" But the dark double interrupted, its tone cold. "The house doesn't choose. It only opens for those who deserve it. And you opened it." The walls around the hall cracked open, spilling forth countless blackened hands, writhing and reaching. Leo staggered to his feet, bleeding heavily, and hurled a stone at the creature. It passed through, harmlessly, like smoke. The entity laughed, a heavy, bone-rattling laugh. From the ground, Isabel screamed with desperation, "We just want to leave! Let us out!" The creature leaned over her, its elongated hand brushing her face. Its voice rumbled like thunder, "Leave. There is no leaving. Whoever enters here becomes part of me." At once, every door in the hall slammed shut. The chandeliers burst into fragments, plunging the chamber into pitch-black darkness, except for the creature's eyes, glowing a deep, bloody red. Sam gripped Leo's hand with one of his own, Isabel's with the other, his voice trembling but defiant. "You won't tear us apart. If this house is a game, then we'll finish it together." The entity tilted its head, almost intrigued. Its grin widened. "Very well, then let's begin the final stage." The ground beneath them split open, like the gaping maw of some colossal beast, and in an instant, they were swallowed whole by the darkness.
The darkness swallowed them whole, as if the earth itself had opened its jaws and devoured them. Each of them felt their bodies dragged at impossible speed, until suddenly they slammed onto solid ground. Sam opened his eyes slowly, but what he saw was no ordinary place. They stood inside a massive hall, larger than anything in the house above. The ceiling vanished into endless fog, and the walls were built entirely from human skulls and bones, fused together in grotesque patterns. Thousands of skulls, their hollow sockets dripping thick, black blood. The ground beneath their feet wasn't stone, it was charred, blistered flesh. Every step they took made it groan, a faint, tortured moan, as though the earth itself was alive and in pain. Isabel gasped, tears spilling down her cheeks. This isn't a place. This is hell." Leo collapsed onto his knees, bleeding heavily, but before he could speak, whispers filled the vast chamber, countless voices overlapping, circling them. Each repeated the same phrase: "Stay, join, forever." Suddenly, from the center of the hall, a massive black column erupted, pulsing like a beating heart. Each throb shook the ground beneath them. On its surface writhed human faces trapped in its flesh, screaming, crying, some laughing with unhinged hysteria. Sam's eyes widened, his voice raw. "That's it, the heart of the house." But the entity hadn't vanished. No, it swirled around the column, its form ever shifting. At one moment a towering shadow, the next a mangled mass of flesh, then a perfect reflection of one of them. Its voice thundered directly into their minds. "At last, you've reached my roots. Here lies every soul the house has devoured, every scream, every fear, every broken spirit. And now you will join them." Leo's voice broke as he screamed, "Where's Laura?" The entity instantly shifted into Laura's form, but not as he remembered her. She was bound to the column, her body melting into its flesh, her eyes wide with tears. "Leo, save me!" Leo stumbled forward, desperate, but before he could speak, whispers filled the vast chamber. Countless voices, overlapping, circling them. Each repeated the same phrase: "Stay, join, forever." The entity's laughter shook the hall, echoing through bone and marrow. "Who said it isn't? Everyone who enters belongs to me. She is mine, and will remain so forever." Isabel forced herself upright, her voice trembling with both terror and fury. "Why us? Why choose us?" The creature fell silent for a moment, then drifted closer. Its voice grew clearer, each word slicing like a blade. "Because you all came burdened with guilt. The house does not feast on the innocent. It thrives on the guilty." Sam's chest tightened as he remembered the mirror, his twisted reflection accusing him of being the cause. Leo's face contorted with anguish, consumed by Laura's memory. And Isabel's tears ran freely, because deep down she knew the creature was right. The entity raised its hand, and suddenly the ground split beneath them. From the crack surged countless blackened hands, clawing at their legs and arms, dragging them toward the pulsing column. Sam screamed, his voice defiant against the chaos. "No! We won't be part of you!" But the entity only smiled, cold and cruel. "You were part of me from the very beginning. You're the ones who opened the door."
The black hands tightened their grip, icy fingers digging into their flesh like iron claws. Every scream they tried to release was drowned beneath the pounding heartbeat that shook the chamber from the house's core. Sam fought to break free, shouting, "We will never be part of you!" The entity's laughter thundered through their bones. "You already are, from the moment you stepped inside." Leo struggled, with every ounce of strength left in him, blood dripping from his shoulder onto the charred, groaning floor. His eyes locked on Laura, bound to the pulsing column, and his tears fell as he cried out, "Laura, hold on, I'll come back for you." But her face shifted, skin peeling into a grinning skull. Leo collapsed to his knees, shattered inside. Isabel, dragged closer to the column, saw the child who had haunted her since the beginning. He stood high above the hall, his eyes bleeding, his voice slicing through her heart. "You did this, Mama. Come with me." She trembled violently, screaming, "Sam, I can't! He's taking me!"
Sam, trembling but defiant, ripped himself free from the hands, his strength fueled by sheer refusal to surrender. He grabbed a massive stone from the ground and smashed at the hands clutching his legs. They shattered into black smoke, and the entity howled from deep within the column as if wounded. Sam roared, "Izzy, fight it! Don't believe him!" Isabel shut her eyes, tears streaming down her face, whispering through broken breaths, I'm not guilty. I tried." The hands holding her crumbled into dust, and the child's voice dissolved into a fading echo. Leo, staggering but inspired by what he saw, wiped the blood and tears from his face. His voice broke, yet carried a raw determination. "I won't leave you, Laura, even if you're not real." With a final surge, he tore the blackened hands apart until they evaporated into smoke. The entity screamed, "Enough!" The ground shook violently. The black column began to bleed thick, endless streams of dark blood. From within its surface, countless distorted faces tore themselves free, screaming, laughing, cursing all at once. Sam raised the stone high, his voice filled with rage. "This is the heart of the house. We have to destroy it!" Isabel and Leo staggered to his side, bloodied, trembling, yet united. Together they rushed toward the column. The entity twisted and shifted desperately to stop them, becoming a colossal shadow, then Laura, then the child, then Sam himself. But with each step they took, the floor trembled harder. The heartbeat weakened. Finally, with a primal scream, Sam drove the stone down into the heart. A deafening shriek tore through the chamber as black blood erupted in a violent explosion. The entity's face cracked apart, splitting into a gaping void of pure darkness. And in its last venomous whisper, it said, "Even if you break my heart, the house never dies. The house is you." The walls split wide, the bone-built chamber collapsing, chandeliers of molten ruin crashing like burning meteors. The three stood in the chaos, uncertain. Had they truly destroyed it? Or had they unleashed something far, far worse?
The air trembled as Sam and Isabel managed to escape from the heart of the house. They collapsed on the ground in front of the massive door that slammed shut behind them like an eternal seal. Their breaths came ragged, their bodies torn and battered, their hearts exhausted. Every breath felt like it might be their last. The natural light outside was blinding to their eyes, almost alien after everything they had endured. Isabel clutched at the dirt with trembling hands, her voice hoarse as she whispered, We made it out?" Sam didn't answer. He just stood there, his eyes fixed on the house. The images of Leo drowning in those black hands kept replaying in his mind, the guilt clawing at him, shredding him from the inside, as if he had abandoned him to fall. But before they could catch their breath, they heard the slow sound of footsteps coming down the dirt path. They lifted their heads and saw a group of villagers standing at a distance, staring at them in shock, as though they were looking at ghosts. An old woman shuffled closer, her eyes heavy with an ancient fear. Her voice trembled as she asked, How did you come out of there?" Sam grabbed her arm desperately, his voice shaking. "What do you mean?" The old woman's gaze sharpened. But when her eyes fell on his hand, she recoiled, collapsing back in terror. Her voice dropped to a broken whisper as she pointed at him. "The house is inside you." Isabel whipped her head toward Sam and froze. A thin black line ran across his hand, like the mark of a burn. But it was moving, pulsing, beating like a living vein. She screamed, "Sam, your hand!" Sam raised it slowly, his face carved in terror. Before he could say a word, a familiar sound echoed through the air. A laugh. Leo's laugh. Both of them froze. They turned around. And there he was,
standing just a few meters away, in the same torn clothes, his face pale, his eyes swallowed by endless black. He smiled, cold and lifeless. "You didn't really think I'd let you walk out of here alone, did you?" Isabel gasped, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "Leo, no, it can't be." But Sam felt something deeper. His heart told him the figure in front of him wasn't truly Leo, but a piece of him was still trapped inside the darkness. Leo extended his hand toward the house. His voice was calm, almost mocking. "The house doesn't need to stay here anymore. The house is inside you now. And I am the first." Suddenly, the house behind them roared, its walls cracking and crumbling, but instead of collapsing, it exploded into a cloud of black smoke that swallowed the sky. Thousands of voices wailed from within, a storm of agony and laughter twisting together into chaos. Isabel clutched at Sam, trembling violently. "No, it's still alive!" Sam fell to his knees, clutching his head. "I can feel it, inside my mind, inside my body." The black line spread from his hand up his arm, crawling toward his shoulder, pulsing in rhythm with an inhuman heartbeat. Leo stepped closer, his eyes twin abysses, his voice no longer his own, but a chorus of thousands. "One isn't enough. The house needs 3. The ground split open beneath them. Black hands erupted from the earth, seizing Isabel's legs with unrelenting force. She screamed, thrashing in terror, "Sam, help me!" Sam lunged forward, grabbing her hand with everything he had, pulling desperately as he shouted, "I won't let you go! Not like I let Leo!" But the hands were too strong. In an instant, the earth swallowed Isabel whole. Her scream vanished into the endless black. Sam fell to his knees, clutching nothing but emptiness. His tears blinding him, he let out a scream that shook the ground itself. Leo stood beside him now, his smile stretching unnaturally wide. "Now there are 2 of us. The house needs 1 more, and then there will be no escape for anyone." The sky turned pitch black. The earth beneath the village split apart. Homes cracked and crumbled, their walls staining with shadows. Screams of terror rose from every corner. Sam lifted his face toward the sky, but the voice that came out of him was no longer his. It was a symphony of tortured souls. The house never dies. The house is the world. And in that moment, the ground itself began to warp, twisting into one massive structure. The earth rose into walls. The sky cracked into a ceiling. The soil beneath their feet hardened into a living foundation. The world itself had become a colossal house. Windows blinked like eyes. Doors split into gaping mouths, and the walls themselves breathed. The villagers froze where they stood, their bodies turning into stone-like statues, their final screams trapped forever within. The last sound to echo across the cursed earth was the laughter of Sam and Leo, intertwined, endless, without beginning or end. And after that, there was no such thing as one haunted house anymore. The entire world had become the haunted house.